all of our folks that have joined the webinar today. I would like to also welcome and thank all of the folks that have joined us to present today. From Fresenius, we have Dayle Watts, who is the International Program Account Manager for Fresenius. We have Thom, who's one of the senior healthcare recruiters and a guru in all the benefits I hear. And then Elizabeth Onishuk, who is the Talent Acquisition Manager from Fresenius. And we are also joined by Amanda Williams, who is a Senior Case Manager here at WorldWide HealthStaff. So we are very excited to answer all your questions. This webinar is geared towards US RN candidates, folks that either have been hired by Fresenius or are interested in being hired as an RN by Fresenius. We in this partnership have already hired almost 230 RNs in this program, and that is just in a short time from February until now. So this is a very exciting partnership. Fresenius is such a fantastic company to work with and to work for. And so we'd like to start by letting the Fresenius team talk a little bit more about what a great organization Fresenius is and some of the details about their organization.
Hi, my name's Dayle, and I just want to say thank you for coming to this presentation and wanting to learn more about Fresenius and the opportunities that we're offering. We all own compliance. It's critical to our company. We conduct business with integrity and honesty in compliance with all laws, company policy, and our values. We are committed to produce products and deliver services that are safe and of the highest quality for our customers. This is one of our drivers, and it is really important. So we start everything with compliance. I'm going to pass it to Dan now.
Thanks, Dayle. So my name is Thom. I am a senior recruiter with Fresenius Medical Care North America. So I work with outstanding talent every day. I help them find a place within our company. So just to kind of familiarize everyone with the core values that we have, just want to go through these. As I share these, I encourage you to think about what is important to you. Do these core values align with what you're looking for in a long-term employer? So I want to start off by saying that we are a people-first, everyday organization, and our core values guide us in our daily work as we strive to achieve our purpose together. So first, collaborative. So we team up, we join forces to accomplish more than what is possible individually. We know how to work together for our shared purpose and to achieve our goals as one company. We communicate openly. So reliable. We do what we say. We put patients and partners first and consistently deliver exceptional service. We act with honesty and integrity, never compromising safety, quality, or health of our patients. We show respect and lead by example, and we are a trusted companion to our patients, partners, and colleagues. So I'm proactive. We get things done. We see opportunities where others don't and challenge the status quo with a no limits mindset. We take the initiative to make an impact with our work. We ask questions to clearly understand what needs to be done and take ownership of the results. So excellent. We exceed expectations. We are results orientated and use best practices. We continuously drive quality and progress to lead the business toward a successful future. We suggest ideas on how to improve and how to innovate. So yeah, that's a little bit of the core values. So next, our purpose. So we create a future worth living for patients worldwide every day. And with that being said, our mission is to deliver superior care that improves the quality of life of every patient every day, setting the standard by which others in the healthcare industry are judged. So that's the mission statement that we have as a company. So the benefits. So a little bit about the benefits of joining our global organization. So first, the Fresenius is an excellent company to work with. We are rated by Forbes as one of America's best employers. We are one of the top 25 nursing employers in the United States. Fresenius also does provide the opportunity for you to advance your skills and grow within the company. So with that being said, a little bit about the benefits that we do offer to employees, and this is just kind of a snapshot overview of some of the things that we offer. So we do have some of the best benefits that a healthcare organization can offer, from offering 3 PPO medical plans, a high deductible medical plan, and HMO alternatives in some states. Employee contributions for medical plans, those are as low as $30.25 for an employee and $115 per family biweekly. We do offer competitive vision and dental plans, life insurance. We have 401k that you'd be eligible for after 90 days of service. We also do have long-term disability, short-term disability, flexible spending accounts. We offer paid time off, holiday pay. We have extended sick leave. We have an employee assistance program. We do have telemedicine options as well, which would be like virtual doctor's visits so that you can get care from the comfort of wherever you may be. We have fitness club discounts as well. I know one thing that our employees do like to take advantage of is that we do have a tuition reimbursement program for employees that are looking to further their education. So that's a big one that we see employees enjoy. We also do have a scholarship program for eligible employees' children and grandchildren. So that would be renewable each year of a post-secondary education program, as long as the employee stays with the company. So that's just kind of a snapshot of some of the benefits that may stick out. I know we have a lot of other benefits that we offer as well, but that's just kind of a snapshot of what some of the things there are to look forward to as far as what the benefits offer.
Thanks, Stan.
No problem.
So data guides our mission, and these are some of the numbers that tell our story. We have over 2,600 dialysis centers, and then we treat 50K plus patients every day, and the mortality rate has been reduced by 47%. That's an impact of the RNs on their patients within Fresenius. Those are people that we made a difference whether they live or die. This is some of the areas in which we're offering positions with Fresenius. As a dialysis RN, there are 3 different programs. We have acute nursing, that's hospital-based, where we're a client of the hospital. You go in, treat patients normally on a 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 ratio. So you have an exciting time in acutes. You know when you start, you never know when you go home. You have no idea what your day will bring. On the other side, we have in-center nursing. These are our clinics. These are where the patients come in 3 days a week, every week. You build relationships with the patients. It's a more stable schedule, and you really can see the patients, and you can see the impact you're having on those patients because you get to know them for years. Home therapy is a new area that we're concentrating on, or at least in a new way. This is when patients need dialysis. We need people, we need RNs to show them what are their options. Do they want to do in-center nursing? Do they want to do their own dialysis at home at their own time and in their own comfortable environment? We need people to teach them their options and to let them know that they can do dialysis at home if that fits their lifestyle better. And this is a map of the open opportunities that we are offering to the international RNs. We have some on the West Coast, but there is a lot on the East Coast. So I would really encourage you to check out the different states, because there's a lot of states in the United States that you probably don't even know what the weather's like there. That's nice and warm. I mean, we have Florida, Tennessee. If you like seasons, we have Wisconsin, we have Vermont, New Hampshire, Michigan. They have nice seasons where you get to experience snow, plus all the warm weather of summer as well. So there are a lot of opportunities across the United States, but on the eastern side, we have a lot of opportunities. And then I'm going to pass to Elizabeth.
Thanks for the handoff, Dayle. Good morning, attendees from around the globe. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. We appreciate your interest and your willingness to learn more about us as an employer of choice. So both Dayle and Dan have talked about some of the more technical aspects of joining the organization, everything from the why, right, the mission, the role and responsibilities, benefits, et cetera. So I'm here to talk about culture. So we do have a senior vice president of talent acquisition that we all report up to, both Dayle, Dan, and myself. One of the gaps he noticed in our organization, again, we're a company that's over 100 years old. We really represent a one-stop solution to the full treatment of hemodialysis in all of its stages. But getting back to sort of the organizational gap that we had, we did not have a true sort of subject matter expert, a point person for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So some of the senior leaders within the organization, they have this philosophical debate about, do we go retained search to try to find someone? Well, guess what we did? We actually looked among our ranks within the organization and identified, so the woman you see here on this slide, Mignon Early, she's been with the company now for 16 years and 4 months, so roughly 16 and a half years. She actually was a regional vice president. Her roots, her foundation is actually in direct patient care. So she always had an interest in both direct patient care as well as compliance, et cetera. Mignon is someone who's known as incredibly progressive, believes really strongly and passionately about diversity. So May of 2021, she was appointed our VP of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And probably around, I would say a monthly basis, we do receive communications through email just about what's happening in the world, the Fresenius world of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And some of that stuff, right, would be captured on the next slide, please. Thank you, Dayle. So there's a concept called Affinity Groups, right? We're a company, again, a global organization with, I believe we're up to 135,000 employees, right? We've got patients and partners all around the globe. Same thing with our employees, right? So why not sort of, that's an incredibly rich fabric, right? So what we've done is started employee resources groups, better known, to abbreviate it, we call them ERGs, so that everyone in the organization, right, feels not only adequately represented, but let's say, I'm a Caucasian woman, but I want to know more about African-American culture. I can join the Black Employee Network. So there's a lot of cross-pollination. There's tremendous value in all of this. We have women in technology. The fact that we even have an environmental network access group, right? So this is a bunch of folks who have a true interest in green initiatives, saving the environment, and how we as an organization, right, can get better about conserving resources and contributing to that particular initiative. So it's really cool. It's one of the reasons why we were named in Forbes magazine, one of the top 25 or most beloved employers in the world, on the planet. This is just more evidence of it. So that's essentially sort of the very, very quick cultural overview that I can give you regarding Fresenius Medical Care.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And we all want to thank you for considering becoming a part of the vital team at Fresenius. We just really appreciate you joining this webinar to hear more about the opportunities at Fresenius.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Fresenius team. What great information. Like, what a great organization Fresenius is to work for so many different reasons. For all the attendees, just a reminder, we will take questions at the end of the session today. So if you have questions about Fresenius as an organization or about the immigration process, this is a great place to ask those questions. So please make sure to put those in the chat or in the Q&A section, and we'll get to those at the end. Right now, we've got some very popular and often asked questions that I would like to pose to the Fresenius team. We talked about so many great things about the organization. There's great benefits, there's great culture, there's great diversity. Tell me, what is the one thing that you would want international nurses to know about Fresenius if you had to choose just one?
Sure, and I can take that question. So again, great question. So for me, I've worked with organizations since 2014. I love the company I work for. So it's important for anyone looking to join Fresenius to take time to get to know who we really are as an organization and how significant of an impact we have in the dialysis community. So we do have over 2,600 dialysis centers across the United States, and we have many more acute dialysis programs directly inside major hospitals across the country. We have made it our mission to educate patients so they can live well at every stage of their life. So we also have the best dialysis training education in the world, putting you in an excellent position to step into dialysis, even if you've never done it before.
That's awesome. Also, it's fun to hear best training program, best lots of things. That's fantastic. One of the things I think that most of us are concerned about, but I know that we hear from our international nurse candidates, is about career path. What are some different options, or what sort of career development is available for international nurses that would join the Fresenius family?
I'll take that one. So there's always training, like technical training. You can always change modality. If you come as a chronic in-center RN and you decide once you get here and you get comfortable that you like acutes, all you have to do is talk to your manager and you can move to acutes. The same with home therapies. And it's not just clinical within doing that. You have management opportunities. I have international RNs that are now clinic managers and program managers that came in under earlier international programs. So you can move up into management. As Elizabeth said, Mignon, she was a nurse in a clinic, and now she's, part of our diversity, equity, and inclusion program, and she runs that. And she came from just being a nurse. That was her passion, and she got there. There are so many opportunities, not just clinical. There's education. You can go from home therapies if you like educating. Instead of educating just the patients, you can educate the other RNs and join our education team. Mm-hmm. They train all the nurses as they come in. So there's lots of opportunities all over the place, whether it's clinical or you want to go management or you want to go somewhere totally different. Fresenius has place for you wherever you need or want to be.
That's an awesome point. I think capitalizing or reinforcing the concept of opportunity within the organization is really key here. So I'm going to quote a registered nurse with a obviously specialization in hemodialysis in our organization. She's been in the business for about 30 years now. I think she was actually literally probably about the 5th employee in the company. And she said, only at Fresenius Medical Care, right, could an RN become not only a regional vice president, right, but a group vice president, which is, pretty high at the top. To Dayle's point about, climbing sort of that management ladder, the folks that actually drive our business development. So, one of the reasons as to why we are a successful and highly sustainable organization is we've got regional and group vice presidents who work the acquisitions angle. So they go out and they find new business opportunities for the organization. And guess what? These folks that are helping generate revenue with the company, they started as hemodialysis RNs. So it cannot be, I think, overstated enough. Opportunity exists here, unlike, I think, the vast majority of organizations in our vertical. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I think there's lots of awards that Fresenius has won that show the happiness of the employees at Fresenius. And for me, as somebody who partners very closely with the organization, I think it is important to note that anytime somebody that we work with at WorldWide that it works for Fresenius talks about working for Fresenius, they say things just like you've heard today about being proud to work for the organization, excited, happy. There's a lot of long-term employees that work for Fresenius. And that in itself is a testament to a great company in a world where not just in dialysis, but in healthcare in general, all over the world and in the US, there's a lot of turnover. And to have long-term employees at an organization really says more than any slideshow can. So I think that's an amazing testimony just to Fresenius all on itself. One other thing I wanted to just mention to everyone on this call, I'm going to put the Fresenius YouTube channel in the chat. And there's incredible videos about all sorts of things that we don't have time to talk to today, but everything from like social justice things that are going on and stories about folks that have been promoted in the company in general. So I'm gonna put that in there just so everyone has that.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have talked a little bit about Fresenius and how large the organization is, and I know there's locations all over the world. And in fact, somebody just mentioned in the chat that they have been a part of Fresenius Philippines since 2015, which is very exciting. If somebody is going through the immigration process and they've been hired by Fresenius in the U.S., Fresenius North America, are there opportunities for them to work around the world while they're waiting for the U.S. immigration process to happen? And are there positive benefits to that?
So Fresenius does have facilities all across the world, and I would strongly recommend that if you are near a Fresenius clinic, you join Fresenius, because it'll have multiple impacts. Number one, you'll be more familiar with Fresenius. It'll be more comfortable when you come over here, but it also impacts your compensation coming over as a Fresenius employee coming over. And also, if you don't have dialysis experience, it's a great way to learn dialysis and learn it from Fresenius so that you don't have to relearn dialysis when you get here, because we all know dialysis treatments are different in the US than other countries. And there's just a lot to learn when you come over. So being a part of Fresenius while you wait for your immigration process would be of tremendous value to you.
Awesome. Thank you. And then, just maybe a follow-up. And you just sort of mentioned this, Dayle, but if you don't have dialysis experience, can you apply to Fresenius in the International RN program?
So currently we are looking for dialysis RNs. There are some non-dialysis RNs that we hire, but they come from Fresenius itself. So again, you would want to get experience within Fresenius and then apply.
Okay, great. That's great to know. Another question that I think we get really commonly is, what happens if you have a spouse or maybe an older child that is going to immigrate with you to the U.S.? Would Fresenius be interested in hiring those folks? What if they are RNs, or what if they're not RNs?
So we have had families come over, and we've had the children look for jobs as patient care techs within Fresenius, because we will train everybody that comes to Fresenius, whether it's an RN or a PCT. A PCT can come in and get their cert while they're working in a clinic. There's other jobs outside of clinical that are open. There's secretaries for the clinics. So Fresenius will do all they can to assist you in finding jobs for your whole family. A lot of times once you get here, the community you're joining within the Fresenius clinic or your program will also assist in letting you know what opportunities are out there and assisting with trying to get your whole family employed here.
Okay, that's great. Great news. Okay, so let's talk about compensation. So there's a lot of people on this call who have already received a job offer from Fresenius and some that haven't. But when you receive a job offer to come to the U.S. as an international nurse in this partnership with WorldWide and Fresenius, the offer letter has the prevailing wage amount. That's the amount that's originally offered. Can we talk a little bit about what happens at the time of the embassy interview and how that gets reevaluated later in the immigration process?
Sure. I'll start. So the prevailing wage is a government dollar amount they give us, and we put that on the offer because we need to put something on there for you. But that is not what you'll be offered when you become a Fresenius employee. So once you pass the embassy and you're like 3 to 6 months out from deploying within the US, then we pass you over to Dan and his team on the recruitment side. And you go through the onboarding process with them just like you just applied. And Dan can take it from here on how he does compensation.
Yeah, so once it gets to us, how the compensation would work is we would work with our compensation team. And a lot of it is based off of your experience. That's a big factor that weighs into it. So any experience, any previous nursing, dialysis experience, that goes into it, as well as what others in the area that have similar experience are at. So it's weighted on those factors. So that's something we work with our compensation team and then come up with your actual offer from there.
And we do that to protect you. If we gave you a random dollar amount right now, we have no idea what the environment is when you get here, because it could take up to 2 years for you to arrive. And you may come and then that amount is not equitable with what your counterparts and coworkers are making. So that's why we do it closer to when you come.
Yeah, I think that, I think that's really such an important point, because it is important that everybody gets paid the same for their experience and that everybody gets the right amount of wage based on the cost of living. And I think especially right now, lots of those things are changing. So I think that's an awesome point. Let me ask the Fresenius Group one more question, and then we'll move into some case management questions. Well, we've talked about a lot of awards that Fresenius has won today. One of the many awards is a Most Loved Workplace Award that was issued by Newsweek. Could each one of you tell us a little bit about what that means to your organization or to you?
Should I go first?
Go for it.
Oh, thank you. Okay. So I think that it could, it's subject to be interpreted differently based on the individual, but I'll give you an example. So something that I personally love about the organization, and I'm assuming that also a number of our registered nurses as well. At the onset of COVID-19, right, the pandemic, as an employer, right, we started seeing our nurses test positive very, very quickly, right? There was a huge spike in our own workforce becoming very, very ill with COVID. Our compassion, right, our generosity in terms of making certain that our workforce was well taken care of, providing additional compensation to folks, increasing hourly rates, making certain again that financially they were covered financially while they were recovering from a positive COVID test. We also offered folks monies for childcare, once they were better and able to get back to work, offering again, compensation for childcare. So when we started looking at like what our competitors were doing, really there was no one out there taking care of their people the way that this company was. So that's one thing that is super important to me. The other piece is when I think about leadership, right? So important. People don't always leave a job, they leave a leader. So anyone in the organization who has even one direct report, whether they're on the corporate side, such as, you know, those of us who are here speaking this morning, or they're a clinic manager, they're an IPS manager, they have to go through servant leadership training, right? And I've been through it myself. It's an incredibly revolutionary, empathetic, but highly effective, training module about how one inspires, motivates, helps employees to not only reach their goals, but the goals on behalf of, you know, our patients and partners, right? So again, it's those, I think, variables for me. I've been with the company now for a little over 4 years. And it's those values that keep me here, quite frankly. And again, I think that if you were to talk to folks that were, working on the floors, direct patient care, they would probably say the same thing as well. Yeah.
And I'll just kind of piggyback on Elizabeth. Our disaster relief program, I've sat on those calls, and they send tanker trucks of gas into places that have been devastated by a hurricane just so that our employees can go get enough gas to get to work. They set up trailer park communities in the parking lots of our clinics. There was one I was watching where there was a patient in a high rise and they were stranded up there. They actually took a boat to the high-rise window, got the patient to bring him to get him his treatment. Like, the company takes care of its patients, it takes care of its employees, and it actually takes care of not our patients. Any dialysis patient can come into a clinic in a natural disaster and get treated, no questions asked. That's really another thing that I really love about Fresenius.
Yeah, and Elizabeth and Dayle pretty much said exactly what I feel as well. I've been with the company going on 8 years now, and just from what I've seen, how they treat the employees, the patients, treated me well the last 8 years. I just think it's a great place to work, and I'll just keep it short and simple. It's just a great place to work, and they treat employees and patients great.
Sometimes it is just that simple. Right? Are those the biggest, most important things? Okay, great. Thank you, Fresenius team. Okay, Amanda, I have a few questions that we often hear from nurses. And so our case management team, for those of you who have a case manager, you are very familiar with them. If you don't, our case management team here at WorldWide walks every nurse once they receive an offer all the way through the steps of their immigration process until they land here in the U.S. They answer all the questions. They are the go-between between the immigration attorney, and they help collect forms and talk about what you need to be prepared. And they really are sort of a jack of all trades. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the beginning of the process. So if I'm a Fresenius nurse and I just got hired, Amanda, what are the first things that I should do, or what should I expect?
Yeah, thanks, Amy. That's a great question. The first thing you want to do is go ahead and start getting your documents together. Once you sign that offer with Fresenius, you're going to get an attachment that has the I-140 sheet documents supplied on there. Go ahead and start getting those collected. Even if you haven't quite got the response from your case manager, be proactive, get those documents together, because the faster you get those to your case manager, once they request it, the quicker they can get it to the attorney and the quicker we can file you.
Yeah, and I'll just say, right now, if you are somebody who's working on collecting your documents and you have recently been hired by Fresenius and you have your NCLEX already, this week is a super week to send your documents to your case manager. There is a deadline of June 30th, a filing deadline, and if you would like for your documents to be filed as fast as possible, this is a great time. And if you have questions about your individual documents, your assigned case manager is the very, very best person to ask those questions to. Okay, what if I haven't taken the NCLEX, Amanda? If I've been hired by Fresenius, but I don't yet have the NCLEX, what should I do?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. I think it's really excellent as well that Fresenius does bring on non-NCLEX nurses, so you can get a signed offer and go ahead and start preparing to take your NCLEX. But that's the number one thing you want to do. Start preparing for your NCLEX, get your NCLEX taken. And as soon as you pass your NCLEX, we'll be able to start filing as well for you.
Yeah. So you can't start your immigration process without the NCLEX exam. Can you talk a little bit about what is the timeline with once you do have your NCLEX, or if you already have your NCLEX right now and you have been hired, what's the timeline to arrive in the U.S.?
Yeah, so we suspect it should be about 18 to 24 months from the start to the end once you have a signed offer. The really great news is Fresenius does pay for premium processing. So your petitions will be filed with premium processing, which could cut your petition wait time down by a year. Right now, with normal processing, we're seeing closer to a year for petitions to be approved once they're filed. So this is really, really great news that Fresenius is offering this, because your petition will essentially get approved within a month. So things will start moving very quickly for you, which is really excellent.
And how important is being really focused on completing your visa screen after your petition's filed? Can you talk a little bit about that, Amanda?
Yeah. So the visa screen is going to be your number one priority document that you want to start working on. A lot of candidates come to their case manager and they haven't quite started working on their visa screen. They want to wait till they get filed. I suggest working on it as soon as you sign an offer. That way you started the process. There's quite a few requirements for the visa screen. You have to upload certain documents and transcripts, but the other huge thing is the English proficiency exam. So you have to pass either the IELTS or the TOEFL in order to get your visa screen, as well as part of the licensure process. This is one of the things that sometimes we do see a little bit of a delay in our nurses taking the exam and passing the exam. So being proactive, getting that started and studying for the exam and getting an exam date on the book as early as you can is the best way to get started on that, because that is one of the main things that we do see hold up some nurses throughout the process, is that they are still struggling on that exam. So the earlier you start on it, the better.
Yeah, and I think great news from Worldwide coming soon next week. We are going to have an English tutor teacher to help us, so help support everyone who's going to take the English exam. So be on the lookout if you have not yet taken the IELTS or TOEFL for additional support coming from Worldwide, which I think is super exciting.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. It's going to be a really great resource. It's a free resource for all the nurses in the pipeline. So we're super excited about her coming onto our team.
Yeah, and she's fantastic too. So very excited about that. Okay, so Amanda, if you've already signed an offer and you've submitted your paperwork to your case manager, there's lots of places where you just sort of have to wait for the U.S. government. Like every government, the U.S. government is not always fast. What are the things while you're waiting that you can do to prepare yourself, like for any additional steps in the immigration process or a move to the U.S.?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. I think always being proactive and looking ahead to see what you can do to prepare. Once we get your petition filed and it's approved, we're in a little bit of a waiting game with the MVC. Like Amy said, with the government, things don't always move quickly. But being proactive, asking your case manager, hey, what can I do next to prepare? They can provide you a list of civil documents that you can maybe start collecting that aren't time sensitive. Again, working on your visa screen, getting that completed as early as possible. I think always finding a way to proactively see what you can do while we're waiting. I think another big thing where you should really focus is just keeping a positive mindset about things, because again, the government can be delayed sometimes. There may be things that are outside of our control, but just know that you have a really great team here at Worldwide and with Fresenius who is pushing for your petition to move and for things to move along smoothly.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Amanda. Any last thoughts from case management that you'd like to leave with this group, Amanda?
Yeah, I think if you have any concern throughout the process, please don't hesitate to reach out to your case manager. That's what we're here for. Like Amy said, we're kind of a jack of all trades. We're your middleman through the attorney, through your employer, through the relocation team at the end when we're booking flights. We're here to answer any question that you have. No question is too small. We know this is a very big journey for you, and we want to be here to support you in any way that we can. Any questions you have, reach out to your case manager. We're here to support you.
Awesome. Thank you, Amanda. So I've seen some folks ask, what do you do if you want to apply to work at Fresenius? So if you don't currently have a job offer, please feel free to either visit the HealthStaff website and apply online, or you can always email your resume to recruiting@healthstaff.org. We also have folks that are live right now on our recruiting team that can answer any questions through live chat. So if you want to go to our website, Facebook page, and chat with somebody right now, you can absolutely do that as well. And if you have a current recruiter, if you've already been done working with somebody at WorldWide, please feel free to reach out to them because they are happy to help you. One great thing about this partnership is that we do have interviews for Fresenius every month, all the way through 2022. So there's opportunity with Fresenius. There's opportunity to have an interview. Our recruiting team is very happy to help talk with you about the locations that are available. I think one thing Dayle mentioned earlier is there's a lot of really fantastic states in the U.S. that may not be as popular, that you may not have heard about yet, but they're great. And oftentimes those states have a fantastic cost of living. They have really good school systems, are often very safe places to live. And so those are all great places to consider that your recruiter would be happy to talk with you about. If you have already been hired by Fresenius and you would like to refer your friend, we have a referral link on our website, or you can always reach out to your case manager or your recruiter, and we're absolutely happy to help your friends as well. So we'd love to help you all get hired at Fresenius. We do have some questions that have been posed by our participants today, and so I'd like to just sort of go through some of those. We may not have time to take every single question, and again, if we don't, Amanda and I are super happy to help. And also, please also reach out to your recruiter or your case manager or WorldWide in general. Some questions are very specific, and we may not be able to help you with those today, but your case manager or your recruiter will absolutely be able to help that happen. So one of the questions we got earlier, I think, was about orientation. What is orientation and training like when you start working for Fresenius?
So when you arrive, you join what we call our Welcome Day Thrive On class. And you are in a class with everybody else in your area who's starting. So there'll be other RNs, PCTs, there could be secretaries, like whoever was hired, they all go to that class. So you get to meet all the other new people in your area. After that, you then go and do work with education. We start our training from the bottom up. So all our RNs will start as a patient care technician, learning how to string machines, because in the US, the patient care technicians do a lot of the patient care or patient-facing care. The nurses are leaders in our clinic. They're, managing those PCTs that are working under their license. So we start from the bottom, and actually this is where international nurses always have the advantage, because you string the machines every day. You do the whole treatment for your nurses for the most part. Whereas in the US, a lot of nurses have been doing the management piece and haven't actually ran the whole machine. And of course, to do your job well, you need to know everything about the dialysis treatment. So you'll work with education learning, and then you'll go out on the floor with a preceptor who will work through physically doing all of the stringing the machines and the tasks. And then after you've mastered the machines, you also learn our charting system and how to use the computers that are integrated into our machines. So a lot of the machines do some of the charting for you. After you do that, then you start learning the nurse role, like how to manage foot checks, documentation, medication accountability, all of those things. So our training, we actually invest a lot in our international nurses. We start them in the inexperienced class to allow you the time to acclimate, ask questions, and really master everything before you move on. And it can take 12 weeks for the training to go through for the RNs. So we pride ourselves on our education and giving you the tools to succeed within Fresenius.
That's great. Thank you. I saw a question about, are you able to change employers? And I think that would be an individual question. So if you have a question about your individual situation and you already have an employer, please contact your case manager and they can help you talk through that. There's lots of different pieces to that. So have that conversation with your case manager. We also have a couple of people asking about is there an age limit? Can you be too old to work at Fresenius?
I don't believe that is the case. And I know even internationally, I've had international nurses from India come over and they're on the older side because the process takes so long with India. We hire all ages. As long as you're able to do the job and you bring value, we're interested.
Yeah, and just sort of as a note, in the U.S., employers are not able to make decisions based on like age or race or gender or a whole slew of other things that they're just not able to make hiring decisions based on those things. So if there is a qualified, great dialysis nurse applicant, we would be happy to help them or you find an interview with Fresenius. Super happy. Okay, so there's a question about, and maybe this is for you, Amanda. How long does it take when you submit your documents to get from the case manager to the attorney?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we get this question quite a lot. Once you have submitted all of your I-140 documents, you've submitted your assigned ETA, it can take, about 1 to 3 months. It really just depends on the documents that the attorney is working on the back end. So the petitions are actually about this thick. It's a lot of paper, a lot of the financial documents on the back end. So there are other documents the attorney is working on, making sure they're all up to date, making sure prevailing wage is up to date for the location where you're working. They want to make sure everything is perfect. So when they file, we don't have any issues and any delays. But once you've submitted all your documents, the attorney's drafting your petition and they're working hard to get it filed as quickly as possible. And again, as Amy said, this month we're doing a really big push to get as many petitions filed as possible before the end of the month. So if your documents have been submitted, your ETA has been submitted, we should see your petition filed very quickly.
Yeah, that's great. And I do think another point, if you have not yet taken the NCLEX, in those cases, your non-NCLEX case manager is super happy to support you and help you and answer questions. But they really, for the most part, are waiting for you to drive the NCLEX process and to give them updates on the NCLEX. So I think it's really common that they haven't given you a next step because your next step is to take the NCLEX, and it's a pretty big step. And so if you have questions and they can help you, please reach out to them. But that's what they're waiting for on your behalf. Somebody asked if they can bring their family with them. And the answer is yes. You can put your immediate family on your petition and you can bring them with you. And if you have details when it comes time to gather your documents and submit your petition, your case manager can help support that. So let's see, what else is on here? Do you honor a master's degree for international nurses? And are there other benefits and salary or other things for nurses who have already earned their master's degree?
So that's something that I would need to follow up on. I could get back on that, but that's something I'm not 100% sure on that at the moment, but I can definitely look into that.
So it was a great question, like excellent question. We stumped the experts. So good work. A couple of people ask if Fresenius does premium processing, and the answer is yes. Yes, they do, which is fantastic. Will Fresenius reimburse expenses like IELTS, visa screening, and license transfer? I think that's a really good question. There is, well, Dayle, do you want to talk about this, or would you prefer that I talk about it?
You can talk about it.
Okay. So Fresenius has a really robust reimbursement program and housing allowance, which I think is fantastic. They do reimburse for NCLEX, IELTS, and TOEFL, endorsement to the state. There's even some luggage reimbursement. Reimbursement also included for your medical exam and your visa screen. So there are a lot of things that Fresenius will reimburse for. And I think just like all the other things that you've heard today, it really reflects how Fresenius values its employees and its future employees, and cares very much about making the right decisions to care for everyone, especially as you're making a big transition to the U.S. One question is about patient ratio. Could you talk about patient ratio maybe in chronic and in acute?
Do you want to take that, Elizabeth?
Yeah, sure. I'll do my best to answer this question. So, and Dayle and Dan, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. It's going to differ, honestly, from state to state. So, for instance, I know the state of Michigan, they've got very different rules around, let's say, to the point that Dayle made earlier in this webinar about the PCTs, attaching the lines. So in the state of Michigan, a PCT cannot attach or detach a patient unless there is a registered nurse available. So I think it's going to vary. Definitely in acutes, what would you say the patient ratio, Dayle, is in acutes? Because I'm thinking about, our Piedmont program in Atlanta. Is it maybe like 6-1 in the acute setting?
Well, there's bedside, which is 1-1 or 1-2.
Yeah.
And then there's the rooms where you might have a pod with 6 chairs, or I think 8 is the most I've ever seen in a hospital. Sometimes it's 4. But there's a patient care tech in there too.
Yeah. And would you agree that, some of it is sort of dictated by what the state, health requirement is? Yeah.
Even the chronic clinics. Our typical ratio is 1-12 for the company. Yeah. But of course, we always have to abide by any state regulations. So sometimes it's lower. Our clinics in size range from 8 chairs to, I think the biggest I've seen is like 40 chairs.
Okay.
And then it's like 1-12 is the normal ratio, with 3 PCTs, each having 4 patients underneath the RN's license in the chronic setting.
So it's hard, I think, to give a definitive answer to the question, but I think that there's certainly enough context there just to, to give all of you participants here, you interested parties, just a sense of how kind of complicated it can get with regard to ratios. Yeah.
And they also cover those in the YouTube videos, a day in the life of an acute RN, a chronic RN, or a PCT. You can watch a day in the life of a PCT as well. Those videos give you a really clear picture of what it's like to work for Fresenius in the United States. So watching those videos, I would say, I would really recommend.
And I'll re-put that YouTube link in the chat. So it's at the very top of the chat in case anybody missed it. I do see some questions coming in that we have already answered in this presentation. For everyone who signed up to attend and has attended today, the great news is that you will also get a recording of this. So if you didn't have the opportunity to join at the beginning, you can go back and watch all of the great content. The one last question I think we're going to answer, and I think this is for you, Amanda, is for RNs that arrive in the U.S., do we help with accommodations and processing Social Security numbers, bank accounts? Really, I think general things that you need to know about landing in the U.S.
Yeah. So we have a really wonderful relocation team who you touch base with them as soon as you have your visa in hand. They assist you with booking your flight. They assist you with providing resources for housing accommodations. We have a lot of really great partnerships with companies like Advantial Banking, Mint Mobile, things like that. You are actually, if you go to the Worldwide Applicant Resource site, and we can drop that link in the chat. There's a lot of really great resources that we partner with that your relocation coordinator, who you will be assigned with once you have a visa, can assist you with.
Yeah, that's great. So many resources. And I think we're adding resources every single day. One of the things that's really important to us, and I know also to Fresenius, is that we do a great job making sure that that when you get here, you have a really good early experience, both finding a place to live that's safe, that you feel comfortable, and starting your new job at Fresenius. So we continue to try to make that experience better every single day. I've seen a couple of folks that said that they have applied and we have not yet reached back out to them. We did have a lot of dialysis applicants over the weekend, which is so exciting. But you should have a recruiter that will reach out to you by today. And you also have the opportunity to go. Let me go back to the slide. If you click this link, you can talk to somebody live right now from the recruiting team. There's somebody available right this second to chat with you and answer your questions. And then you can also apply online or email our recruiting box if you haven't had a chance to apply already, or you have a friend that you would like to refer. So as we start to wind down today, I'd love to hear some final thoughts from our Fresenius partners. You know, we've heard a lot about what a great organization. We've heard things like best often today. But what are the final thoughts that each one of you would like to leave with our participants?
I'll go first. I would like to let you know that one of the favorite things I do is to email the field and say, your international nurse is coming. We've got a date. They get so happy and they start planning to welcome the international nurse. It's just one of the best things about my job. They are looking forward to when you guys arrive.
Dan, did you want to go next or should I?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so kind of what Dayle said, just welcome everybody. And it is a great company to work for, like you did mention. And yeah, we'll look forward to having anyone aboard.
Awesome. And I would leave with, we truly are, even though we're over 100 years old, we are both a pioneer and innovator in the treatment of hemodialysis. So about 3-4 years ago, we actually acquired a company called Next Stage. So it makes Next Stage, right? It makes it possible for patients to have treatment in their home. So there was a slide devoted to sort of the three modalities: acute, chronic, and home. And of course, Next Stage is a machine that's the size of like a mini refrigerator. And it, really spares the patient, the time and the, sort of pain, if you will, of having to go to a clinic daily. So that remains an option. We also have acquired companies that provide, not everyone requires dialysis, and the disease can be better treated and controlled with drug therapies. So again, I think about sort of the future of this company is an incredibly bright and optimistic one, based on leadership really wanting to continue on the path of innovation.
That's great. And thank you all for sharing. I mean, big thanks to Dayle and Dan and Elizabeth to take an hour out of your busy day, and Amanda for representing case management. And also a big thank you to everyone who took time to attend today and to learn a little bit more about Fresenius. For those of you who've already been hired, to connect with some names and faces that work for the organization now. And again, if you have questions we were not able to help you with, please reach out to us at WorldWide, and we'd be very happy to help. Hope everyone has a good evening or a good day or good afternoon, wherever you may be in the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.